G'day Early Crow family and welcome to episode 28 of the Captain's Run. Pratt stepping up to the plate and doing the hosting duties. We've got Dicko and Paps here. Let's start with you, Dicko. How's the rest of the week been, mate?
Strong, building nicely into what is a glorious, it starts tonight, great games of footy, both codes, and ponies packing them. I don't even know where they are tomorrow in the day, but we've got Cranbourne tomorrow night. We've got a runner, which should be hard to beat. It's very scary, eh? We scratched last week from a race we probably would have won in hindsight. And then we thought this would be softer, and then that Exeter lead Gaze horse was in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, fuck. But it's running tonight, so.
That's a big blessing.
Highlands tomorrow night at Cranbourne.
Little
I wonder
multi.
if the Dim Sim King's backing up, doing cranny back to
Nah,
back.
he's not. Nah, he was dustier than the top of his fridge Saturday morning, he said.
Paps, how are you, mate?
I'm good, boys. Been nice, back in Victoria. And yeah, it's been a good week.
Before the Sydney set we've got you this week, mate, we're moving up the pecking order, are we?
Yeah, that's it. Got to get your Early Crow family in first.
Love it, mate. Love it. We will get to Flemington at the back of the show where we have the Australian Cup card, but let's firstly turn our attention to what might be a rather wet Rosehill on Saturday, perhaps.
Yeah, looks very wet. Be interesting to see if they rain on race days. Obviously, the issue, and it looks like there's going to be plenty of rain Saturday morning, so it's a watch and see for sure. It's going to be definitely heavy. At Rosehill, and there hasn't been many meetings, rail 6 metres on the heavy, so the meetings that have been there, they've all been, you don't want to be worse than midfield, so you want to be forward and looking for the ones that love the heavy.
Dicko, you'll find this interesting. Before, at nominations, rail 5 metres, when acceptances came through, rail 6 metres. Interesting going there from Rosehill with the track curators just bumping it in an extra.
That's a little bit like Donald, isn't it? Fake news. Don't
Fake
question
news.
it. Just
Move
push on.
Yeah. Fair. Well, that is exactly what we will do as well, mate. Perhaps you want to preview 2 races. Let's start with race 7, which is the Kingdom Stakes over 1,200 metres, the 3-year-old and up Group 3. We've got Uncommon James on the quick backup, $6. Brudenell, $6. Astraka, $6.50. General Salute, $6.50. Marzu, $7.50. Espionage, $8, and then along with the rest, what are you doing in race 7, the Kingdom Stakes?
Yeah, well, there looks to be a fair bit of speed here. All from probably the inside draws 1 to 7. They'll work themselves out around there, but I reckon Espionage lands in a good spot. Has been down in Melbourne, had excuses, comes to Rosehill here, loves it heavy. Sort of had a bit of time off in between its last heavy run. And I just think it maps well. We should be forward, probably a couple of pairs back in the 1-1 even. And yeah, it's been running in group class in Melbourne. Drops back here. It's can run a really nice heavy rating. And yeah, I just think $11 v Jolly Star as well, which is good form. Tim Clark on, Gaybot, Rosehill. That's good for me.
And the $21 versus Jimmy Star as well. It's a weird horse though at the same time, perhaps. It's had no weight last 2 starts, and it's run on very hot days. So it was real hot at Flemington and hot at Caulfield, and had heat stress and then slow recovery. So on trust.
Yeah, trusting that. Just with there's not much. It's obviously hard to bet into heavy form. Heavy tracks. I won't be betting much on Saturday. Just looking for the ones that have the heavy rating, because it's pretty hard to trust, and you can trust trainers and things like that. But I'm trusting that heavy number and the map position on Espionage.
Do you give any hope to Nash's Mount Marzu for Joe Pride?
Yep, that's the other one that loves the heavy form, has a peak rating on heavy. That's right in the market. Nash on, goes forward. Definite chance for sure.
It was significantly the best of the on-paces in a proper race down the straight and a really windy, rainy day at Flemington. Like Growing Empire come through that race, those sort of horses. So it's proper form.
It was a Skybird race, wasn't it?
Yeah. There was over 1,000. But yeah, I thought it and Coal Crusher looked like the real heavy wetters.
Yeah. And Cold Crush is the other one.
Interesting. Sure. Beautiful. So, perhaps you're going to kick off the captain's run in Rosehill, race 7, number 13, Espionage. Taking the $8 now or just hold fire?
I'd probably take the 8. There's going to be scratchings and things like that, so you just want to see. I'm not sure what ways.
I think you should always just take the price and roll with the deductions. I think you'll end up just about where you were anyway, and you don't have to overthink it and get grey hairs trying to beat them like that. There'll be a heap of horses come out of this. Like, I don't think Uncommon James wants it wet, so you're backing it up. You see the rain, I think, sooner or later you'll see that horse come out.
Fair enough. Then we move over to the Doncaster Prelude, mate, which is race 9, the 1,500 metre Group 3. We've got Willadeo, top of the market, $5. Amenable, $5.50. New Endeavour, $7. Scarlet Oak, $7.50. West of Africa, $8. And then if we scroll down a little bit, we've got Just Folk in there as well. Just Folk, baby, at $13. Surely you're siding with the Mailbag Bloodstock runner, surely.
Yeah, it's had excuses the first two, offer very, very nice trials. Gets Tommy Berry, can be forward, ticks a lot of boxes. I think it is overs, but the main bet I'll be with is Amendable. Huge last start versus Sandpaper, who got it all its own way in front. That has a wide draw here. Tim Clark won't get the same run in transit. Scarlet Oak's one that has sort of heavy form a couple of preps ago. Will come in for the race, I think. Willadeo is the one I want to be against. Gets J-Mac, but it was blessed last start as well. Has that wider draw. Will have to come across and doesn't have much heavy form. So it was won once on heavy form, but it just hasn't sort of stayed at its level rather than gone again. And Amendable sort of goes above what it does on good. So Just Folk and Amendable for sure are the bets there.
What about Williamsburg?
Wide draw.
Swims.
Hey, swims.
Swimmer.
First up.
New stable.
Yeah, first up was. I had a look at that. Where is it here? Yeah, first up. That was sort of my query. First up on heavy, over the 1,500. But yeah, I thought wide draw, but there's going to be a few to come out. So like, my knock was the wide draw and first up, but I'm sure I'll probably come into about 10. There'll be a fair few that come out of this, so it's I can see with that as well. It's definitely like I've probably marked it down because of the map, but when these come out, it'll probably be overs around $34.
Love it. Dicko, the wetter the better for Just Folk.
Like, we want it as wet as possible without them calling it off. And it's fit as fuck. It swims. It's one of the only... There's about 4 or 5 in this race that have won on a heavy track. There might be good numbers on wet tracks, but this thing wins. He's had 7 goes on a heavy track. He's won 3 of them. He's placed two of the others. Tommy Berry on. We roll forward. If they run this race and it has rained, he will be very hard to beat, and he is a significantly large bet each way if you're listening, in my opinion. I am scared of Amenable, but it hasn't won on a soft track and it hasn't won on a heavy track. It gets through it, I think, but I don't know if it loves it. And I completely agree that it's ready to do something. But at the prices, I'd be really surprised if there was no scratchings if we started double figures.
Yeah, because it was... Was it at Hawkesbury? No, it wasn't at Hawkesbury. It was at Eagle Farm when that track, they said it was soft, but it was bottomless for Just Folk, hey? That day that it won.
Yeah, but it beat Detonator Jack that day. Like, that's a relevant form for Sydney racing, for good definitely. Sydney racing.
Converge.
It's got legitimately strong enough form, and it's now at a stage of preparation where we want it to be running in really sloppy tracks. It will not run if the rain doesn't hit.
Yep.
He was below par, but still pretty good at Flemington. But that was a good 3. He'll never race on a good 3 again, most likely. So we're just hunting wet ground, and we're hoping to God, Zeus, Salah, Bilbo Baggins, Ablett Senior and Junior that this fucking Rosehill track can handle a bit of rain.
Yep. And then perhaps no play for you, but that was race 9. Your bet was number 2, Amenable, and Dicko's keen on his horse Just Folk will get through it. Dicko, is there a bit of disrespect in the last $41 for Danusta?
Have a bet each way. Have them all up. Win and place. Win and place.
Yeah.
It's a stupid price. He's fit. He's been in work for a while. Similar story to Just Folk. Not as fit, but we're hunting wet ground with that horse. He swims. Yeah, really excited. Intend on being there on Saturday and hopefully collect 2 trophies.
Love it, mate. Love it.
Hopefully.
Perhaps you've got other commitments, so we will let you go. Is there anything else you want to leave the punters with, or just the 2 plays, which is race 7, Espionage, and race 9, Amenable?
Look, I think Dubai Honour has it's 2 runs in Australia, Randwick, and I think it's Randwick. They've been running Rosehill. They've been huge. Rosehill and Randwick, massive runs of slow tempos. It's going to get another very slow tempo. And it's had a 3rd placing on heavy. And the number is actually pretty good from overseas as well. So I'm weighing up whether I have a bet on Dubai Honour, but yeah, I think the Haggis, they come over and they go well. Yeah, if I don't have many more bets, I might just throw it in for the family.
Love it, mate. Love it. And if you could get yourself a pair of AirPods for next episode, mate, that would be much appreciated.
Yeah, if you 2 could have a shave for once, it'd be right as well.
He's gone return serve. Straight back. Straight down the line. That could be a winner. Perhaps we'll let you go, mate. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will be with you on the other side with Flemington. All right, Dicko, we've let Paps go. He's on to bigger and better things. It was nice of him to join us. He won't listen, so we can give him a little clip on the way out there. But anyway, let's get over to Flemington, mate. Looks like perfect weather on Saturday for headquarters. We've got Rail True. How do you see the track playing, first of all?
Straight races. We don't want to be backing horses that settle in the back 3rd unless we're getting a great price.
Yep.
Otherwise, quite even. Very even rail position, Flemington, in the world's most livable.
Yep. What is it, 30 tomorrow and then 25 on Saturday, I think, with a little bit of a light breeze. It should be perfect on course. Right, let's get to race 6, which is the Bob Hoysted handicap, over 1,000 metres, the listed affair. We've got Pisanello, top of the market, $3.10. Midwest, $5.50. $7 Spacewalk. $7.50 Oscar's Fortune, $9 Oak Hill, and then longer the rest, mate. Firstly, how do you see this map set up down the straight?
The speed's Midwest. Acromantula will sit off it, I think. Oscar's Fortune will be thereabouts. Mark Zara is not an overly aggressive rider. Major Share, Joyful Fortune will punch up and be somewhere in that first 4, I think. Then She Dances, Spacewalk, Oscar's Fortune thereabouts with Extremely Lucky. Home Rule, Pisanello, Oak Hill, and then Sand Doubt bring up the rear. P Rat. Sand Doot is a disgracefully short price. Awful map. Complete forgive run. I concede that in the Oakley Plate, but and 2 from 2 track and trip. But the map's awful. This is a good race, and it's not a good horse. It's a nice horse, but there's really good horses in this race. Oak Hill is the most exciting horse in this race. Relatively lightly raced versus some of these.
Yep.
And at a stage of its preparation where it could well explode. It's 4th up with a tick over under its belt. It'll be trained at Flemington. It's going to be grandstand side and swooping, but as I mentioned at the start, it's going to be back 3rd, so we need to be a little bit careful.
What number did the tick over get?
Just a 5, I think.
Oh, okay.
But it's just, all I needed to see was tick over, personally.
Love it.
Extremely Lucky is a horse that's hard to catch, hard to price. Pisanello, don't like its map. But what I will say about the old Pisanello is that it's got really strong SPs, and particularly recently in a good race in Sydney.
Yep.
It wasn't suited there, thanks to Paps, and it hit the line real hard. 6th best last 400 metres of the day on a Group 1 day. So it's going to be rattling home with Oak Hill. It's going to have a little bit of traffic, most likely, whereas Oak Hill is just going to be grandstand side. I think this is a big ask for Midwest, and the price is ridiculous. I think it should be and probably will be double figures by the time they jump. What might hold its price is the fact that it's going to lead. I thought that the two horses that really interest me, and you can probably back both. I've taken $10 about Oscar's Fortune.
Yep.
I think $7.50, as you mentioned, is fair and good.
Yep.
It starts to get sort of into the sixes. Probably pull me up.
Yep.
I think Spacewalk's the other one. Lovely trials, two of them in Sydney. It's got a really steady, strong SP profile and really nice straight track form. They're the two that I love the maps, I love the riders, I like the trials. Oscar's Fortune started 3:30 versus Barraquil last prep. This is its first actual preparation under Gavin Bedgegood. He improves horses more often than not off pretty good Victorian trainers. I think he's likely to improve this horse off the WA trainer.
Yep.
And I reckon that Oscar's Fortune might be headed west after this. So you do you. But yeah, Oscar's Fortune, the main play, I think, from Spacewalk with a big watch on Oak Hill.
Yeah.
You're sort of talking $8 roughly for each of them, So you could play all three if you wanted to.
Yep.
You do you.
Yep, fair. What do you make of Akram Angela with its first full prep for the Hayes boys? Is they
trials weren't as good as some of the others here.
Okay.
And some of its SPs, like Oscar's Fortune owns this horse in WA. Like, it's got significant SP edges against it. I also think the Hayes boys is a little bit more traditional. Like, Akram Angela probably raced through to spring, whereas Oscar's Fortune, Gavin, a bit more deadly for sort of first 2 to 3 runs of a prep.
Yep.
Yeah. Look, I think Akram Angela, I think both the Hayes horses, to be honest. So I've got $41 Akram Angela written down here, like the best in the market. And I've got Joyful Fortune, $19. I reckon they'll both significantly drift.
Okay.
And if they start to sort of double in price, you're going to start to think about having them on your team.
Yeah, fair enough. With a small spend to get a good return there. So, Dicko, you are keen on race 6. You're keen on number 2, Spacewalk. But the main play for you there is number
1, Oscar's Fortune.
Number 1, Oscar's Fortune. And obviously with a watch on Oak Hill, a potential chop bet there if you want to play, as Dicko says all the time, you do you. Then let's look at the only Group 1 on the card down here at Flemington, mate. We've got the Australian Cup, 2,000 metres for the 3-year-olds and up the Group 1. We've got Pride of Jenni. Are they going to shad the bar if this one wins? Have you heard any
No,
they
are. They are.
Oh,
how racing is that?
That's just
so racing.
Yep. Why wouldn't you just pick another horse? And
the bigger question is Kanga going to invoice them?
You reckon?
I told you 3 or 4 weeks ago. He should be running everything.
Yep, agreed. Anyway, Pride of Jenni currently top the market, $2.
Imagine Kanga, he'd say, our turnover figures are through the roof. With the Victorian racing is the most watched in the world. He'd just say things like another bloke does, and other blokes, everyone just run with it.
Yeah, fair. I'm going to let that one go straight through to the keeper. Middle Earth, number 4, $4.40. A Tissue, $7. Loves Flemington. We've got Zardozi at $7. Light Infantryman at $10. And then longer the rest. Firstly, Deny Knowledge might serve it up to Pride of Jenni in the lead?
You'd hope so. The map I've got, Deny Knowledge and Pride of Jenni out in front.
Yep.
Pride of Jenni will go harder than Deny Knowledge. Why is that, you ask? That's a good question, Michael. Because Craig Williams hates speed, and Craig knew it has to do as he's told. And Tony O wants this thing to be revved, so it shall be revved. But it's a very different shape to what Pride of Jenni saw last start Caulfield, where she bounced back and won the
Peter Young
Stakes. I think Keats ran in that. Might have run second or third. Young Verta should roll forward from 10. Light Infantryman holds a spot from 4.
Yep.
For Roche, for Kanga, for Fly, and just for Collingwood people, it will try and settle midfield.
Yep.
And it might run last.
Yep.
And I'll enjoy it. This horse has seen tempo twice in its life.
Yep.
Failed both. Never been beyond 1,600 metres. This is a 2,000 metre race. Fucking good luck.
It did see tempo, but that was on a soft 7 first up. Last one of its times that it's seen tempo. There is,
and it shit itself.
It did shit itself, but we're talking.
We talk like maybe $8. It started $4.
I reckon it was higher than that. It started about $4. If
hey,
not
nice horse, but this is like Remember when they debuted Jack Watts against Collingwood on the Queen's birthday?
I do. I was there.
That's what they're doing to this horse.
Yep.
Like, fuck. Just let him get a kick.
Yep.
You're playing him in like a final here. This is like as brutal as tempos get in horse racing.
Yep.
Probably for the next 10 years. And they're fucking... Here you go.
Yep. Fair.
Atishu, Middle Earth, Zardozi sit off that speed. Attrition right back, I think.
Yep.
And Shayhar sort of just worse than midfield.
Yep.
Michael. You want me to roll through them?
What are we doing here? What are we doing? I want to know what the play is first.
The play here is each way the 8 Zardozi if you need to bet. The play here, like you sort of, I don't think you can think about wagering until you almost see Deny Knowledge enter the gates, because we want to see a bit of vigour in run and not just let this great mare do whatever the fuck she wants in run.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? So... this is not a race that excites me from a betting point of view, but it does excite me from a form analysis and pricing and narrative point of view. The other thing with Zardozi's, you can tell me this surely. What happened last start with this horse?
Now you're really testing my memory there, mate. To be honest,
Zardozi started favourite against Pride of Jenni last start.
They did too.
Now they're giving you $10 almost probably by the time it jumps versus like $2.70, $3, $2.50.
And it was backed too.
With a tougher map.
Yeah.
And you go from Caulfield, where it's often hard to make ground, to Flemington, where if you're ever going to make ground, it's going to be Flemington. I think the tables have turned in Zardozi's favour more so than they ever were going to be at Caulfield.
Yeah.
And it makes the price confusing to me. Attrition is getting to a stage of prep and has a level of ability where it will run a monster sooner or later. Could be Saturday. Middle Earth was...
Can I make a comment before you go? This is surely the fucking wrong price. Duke DeSessa should have won that race. And I can't believe it's sub $5. It should be $10 plus.
Yeah, but it was $5 in a $3.50 winning on debut in Australia, and it won. And it was a good overall number. And Mark Zara sticks. And it's up and trip. And it's...
Yeah, fair enough.
I wouldn't want to lay it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be laying it, but I just can't believe it's $4.40 currently. I can't believe it's not closer to $10 if you're comparing it to horses like a Tissue, Zardozi, even
yeah.
Deny
But what
Knowledge.
about if you're going to blow up about prices, how the fuck is Light Infantryman near the same price as a Tissue? Last start $26 versus $9.50 a Tissue. It's not a Group 1 weight for age horse, Light Infantryman. It's not.
It was literally going to be my next comment.
So it's the wrong price. I don't have enough sort of. I don't have enough
cojones,
data and information and knowledge. I haven't seen Middle Earth enough to sort of pen it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Don't want to back it at the price, but don't want to lay it. Pride of Jenni's too short, and if you're ever going to lay a horse, win and place, she's the horse to do it to. It'll be a real thrill, and it could be absolutely heartbreaking as she just breaks all their hearts and then yours.
You get a free beer though, so just make sure you lob at Flemington.
Yeah. A Tissue's a good price. Zardozi's a big price.
Yeah.
Feroché's unders. Deny Knowledge is about right. Shayar, Young Verda, and Attrition will all be backable prices if you like any of them, in my opinion. That's obviously my opinion. But I really think we know Young Verda can sustain a brutal gallop. We've seen it before. We might have seen it against Duke DeSessa even at Caulfield once. Young Verda was lame last start. Started 5.50 versus Middle Earth. What I'm trying to tell you is that my advice, my opinion, is don't dump a significant amount of your bank into Pride of Jenni.
Yep.
Don't be pounded into even the Zardozis of this race. Have a little small bet at it, or have a tiny bet at a Young Verda each way at a huge price, limited outlay, no damage done, and you get to watch a great race. This is a great race. It's tactical. There's so much to sort of evolve. What the splits look like. Does she jump well? Does she not jump well? Eventually, Pride of Jenni is going to say, fuck this. She sort of said it last prep, and then she's come back and run near career PB first up. Sometimes horses come back off it, but she might be just an absolute freak. So, yeah, I think she's more like a $4 chance here than what the market says, but I don't confidently want to hammer her.
Yep. Fair. So if you were going to have a little spec, mate, you'd be looking at Zardozi, but as you said, you want to wait to see Deny Knowledge actually be loaded into the barriers and going to take its spot to make sure that there is a little bit of pace to go with Pride of Jenni to hopefully make the thing go pop.
Yeah, like if we're at the pub and it's like my turn to bet and they're like, Dicko, you got $100, what are you doing?
Yep.
I'm going to have $50 Zardozi.
Yep.
I'm going to have 10 Young Verda. I'm going to have maybe 5 Shayar.
Yeah. And
maybe like rove the rest in like Quinellas or something.
Yeah.
And hope for just chaos, I'm putting the Young Verdas, the Shayars, the Zardozis of this race in.
Yeah.
And just see what happens.
Yeah. Fair enough. That is the look at the Australian Cup, the Group 1, mate.
And again, just because like I hammer them all the time because they need to be hammered because they're so basic and boring and vanilla. You won't hear anyone, even up in New South Wales, bag this race. The All-Star Mile, when they got rid of the public engagement, was a really dumb decision, but where they placed it, this is proof of the pudding. This race is really, really good.
Yeah, it is a great race. I'm looking forward to being on course.
So full credit to them.
On Saturday. All right, Dicko, now on to the Betfair Value Vault. As we've spoken about before, horses that are outside the market with Betfair usually play a better price than Top Tote. If we look back on the weekend, mate, Mahuna, the one that Paps steered us into, a whopping 22% better Betfair starting price than Top Tote price. That's after commission as well. So you are getting an enormous edge if you're backing horses outside of the market with Betfair. You're looking at the World Pool Sprint Classic over 1100. This is race 7, the listed race. And I believe you're siding with one of the McDonald runners.
Flemington, race 7, number 14, Jasmine Rouge. McDonald trains. Jamie Mellum doesn't ride.
Ooh.
Ben does.
Love it.
It's a bigger price than the one that Clinton trains that Jamie rides.
Vestas,
who was very good behind Amelitas in the carnival down the straight. We backed both that day, big boy. But Flemington, race 7, number 14, Jasmine Rouge. Beautiful humming trials. A proper scopy horse. 1,100 metres, you'd think on its pedigree isn't enough, but off its form profile, 2 runs to date, savaged it, sharp enough to be there. I love the map. It'll be just better than midfield. Huge price in a great race. A deep race, but we're getting a very, very big price. They can't back them all. I think this one gets out. It looks like they've identified Vestas as the McDonald Mellum horse they want to be with, but we're going with the McDonald Ben Mellum horse.
Love it. That is race 7, number 14, Jasmine Rouge for the Betfair Value Vault. Now, Dicko, before we wrap up today's show, it would be rude of us not to ask how Windstorm's going in the Curragh Cup, which is race 5, mate. Of your runners this weekend, does Windstorm have a chance?
That horse has been cursed. If you're playing along at home and you want to sort of just have a think about what happens in races, go and watch 10 Deep's race. Get the steward's vision too at the end of the race when it looks like she's got nowhere to go, Linda Meach, and you think, I don't know about that. You watch it, tell me what you think. Then, if you want to go further down the rabbit hole, go and watch Windstorm's last run before you go on that replay. Go and open up Dynamic or some such and look at the betting drift. Unbelievable stuff. This horse is cursed. We have done like some sort of Native American ritual stuff to try and cleanse him.
You've been getting the sage yet? Less houses, get the sage.
Yeah, smoking some leaves and get the
doing
usual amount of passive dart smoke from Jesus. But we've even changed the cigarette smoke for the passive dart. We've done everything we can in our power to try and get this guy's luck to turn. He's drawn perfectly. He gets a 5.5, maybe 6 kilo swing on Munamek.
Yep. Stackhouse in the saddle.
Stackhouse goes
That's
on
great.
54 kilos.
Oof.
On his day, he's more than capable of winning this race. To be honest, a little bit disappointed in the price. I don't think I could take that price.
Okay.
With how inconsistent he is.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, there's a version of him that we've seen since we've owned him that wins that race. I just think you deserve off what he's done and the luck he's not had to get sort of $30, $20 at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was backed and started $7.50 in a Group 3, 2 starts back, but he was $6 out to about $17 in Adelaide last start and given none.
Yep.
Zero. Absolutely no chance. So I think he'll improve. Grouse Mountain Friday night, Cranbourne, keep an eye out for that Friday week.
Yep.
Highlands Friday night, hard to beat this Friday night. 1,400 metre Class 1, probably goes to the front, probably wins. Until Valhalla. Is it Doomben on Saturday up in Queensland? I think
so.
It is.
Yep.
She's going to run well. She's at the stage of prep where she needs to deliver, or things are going to change.
Ooh.
I reckon she's going to go very, very close up there. And if God allows us, like we spoke about at the start of the show, and the rain comes, but not too much, so the Rosehill, before they sell it, can actually sustain a bit of rain on a race day, and they can race on through it. Just Folk will go very, very close to winning the Doncaster Prelude, and he'll back up into it. And Dana Star will be very hard to beat at an enormous price. $41 is a disgrace, and you should take it. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858, or visit the website. Have a phenomenal weekend. Be nice to everyone. If you want to race a horse with me, Jono, Jono at themailbag.com.au. Get around the socials, and even if we just have an okay weekend, thank Pratty for all the hard work he's doing. God bless you all. Bye for now.
Bye for now. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.